Hi, it's Katrina. For the first time in human history, we have a photo of a planet being born. And we've got an update on 3i Atlas, the Interstellar Visitor. Let's check it out. The Interstellar Visitor. Atlas is coming in hot. And we've got some new information. It came streaking in from interstellar space like a rogue guest at a dinner party. It's a fast-moving, reddish speck with a trail of mystery behind it that has the whole scientific world in an uproar. Is it a spaceship? Is it a comet? Could it be a prank from an advanced civilization? Comets are so fascinating because they act as time capsules that can hide information from when they were made billions of years ago. It's also getting people a little worried. It's a bit too close for comfort. What makes Atlas so unique is that it has several unusual features that defy the typical behavior of comets, including an anti-tail, a jet of particles that points towards the sun rather than away from it. This is the tangled, glowing enigma that is 3i Atlas, humanity's third known interstellar visitor and potentially its strangest. Even stranger than Oumuamua, the tumbling cosmic cigar that Harvard scientist Avi Loeb claimed was an alien probe. Stranger even than Borisov, the surprisingly well-behaved interstellar ice ball that politely vaporized its way through our solar system. 3i Atlas is stranger because it showed up glowing green and wobbling on its trajectory like a drunk trying to hail a cab. It is so strange, in fact, that it has split the scientific community into at least 3 different camps. You've got the skeptics, the believers, and those who think it's a giant seed on a mission to form a new planet. This thing is interstellar, uninvited, and unexplained. Which camp are you in? First spotted on July 1st, 2025, 3i Atlas earned its place in the cosmic registry as the 3rd confirmed interstellar object to grace our system. And that is a huge deal. We don't get many visitors, especially not many coming in this hot. The so-called comet came into our solar system with a high-velocity, hyperbolic trajectory that made it clear this wasn't just another rock from the Kuiper Belt out joyriding past Jupiter. 3i Atlas could soon shower NASA's Jupiter probe and charged particles. And this would actually be great because then we could learn more about it. Its speed and course marked it as a drifter from parts unknown, launched from some far-flung stellar nursery and flung across the void into our backyard. While most scientists were ready to pin the weird comet label on this thing and call it a day, the universe, ever a fan of narrative twists, was not so cooperative. Once scientists started doing the math, they realized something was seriously wrong. Unlike your typical ice ball comet, Atlas started glowing green as it approached the sun. That's not unheard of, as many comets fluoresce green due to the presence of dicarbon molecules, which get excited by sunlight and emit an eerie emerald hue. But there's a catch. With Atlas, it wasn't showing any signs of dicarbon in its spectrum. So what the heck was making it glow green? The chemistry that shouldn't be. Images of the green glowing interstellar visitor were captured by astrophotographers Gerald Riemann and Michael Jaeger during the September 7th lunar eclipse. At first glance, it looked like your standard issue comet warmed up and turned green from the sun. But it was lacking that critical component: no dicarbon, aka C2. Instead, early spectroscopy revealed an unusually high proportion of carbon dioxide, plus nickel and cyanogen. Now it's a little strange because although cyanogen is a molecule usually seen in comets, it's never seen in comets at such a high level. The cyanogen in 3i Atlas is off the charts. Not to mention, the C2 to Cn ratio was so low that according to astronomer Luis Salazar Manzano, Atlas is now ranked among the most carbon chain depleted comets ever observed. And although I barely understand what any of this means because I don't work for NASA, I know that the pieces don't fit. Astronomers are baffled, speculating that maybe the glowing green is coming from some unknown molecule. Is it a spaceship? So maybe this thing is glowing green because of strange chemical compounds that originated in a distant galaxy. Or, as is usually the case when something in space defies classification and the laws of physics, it could be aliens. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb says it's aliens. Probably annoyed that no one was paying attention anymore after he spent the last few years trying to convince everyone that the Oumuamua comet was an alien probe, this time the guy came flying out the gate with theories. Avi Loeb suggested that the anomalous acceleration observed in Atlas's trajectory could be consistent with controlled movement, as in piloted, as in a spacecraft piloted by an alien pilot. For now, Loeb ranks 3i Atlas as a 4 out of 10 on his Loeb scale. He made this scale to gauge the likeliness of an interstellar object being extraterrestrial technology. The main reason is because of the strange anti-tail anomaly. This might sound crazy, but there is a method to the madness. Atlas has now approached the sun and is out of our view. Avi Loeb has theorized that this shocking maneuver is a telltale sign of a spacecraft using the gravity of a large star to change its speed and course. Loeb explained that when you're traveling in space, the absolute best time to hit the gas or the brakes is when your spacecraft is closest to a big object, like a planet or the sun. This trick is often called the Oberth effect, and it gives you the biggest bang for your fuel, resulting in the biggest possible change in speed. Atlas is about to hit that perfect window right now, or it might have hit by the time you see this video. Being just a mere 126 million miles from the sun makes it the perfect time for an Oberth maneuver. Avi isn't alone in thinking this way. 20 scientists co-signed a paper that confirmed the plausibility of the idea. That is 20 scientists who believe that this object has shown just enough weirdness to warrant looking for technosignatures like spectra, signals, or other behaviors that could confirm an alien origin. And in case you think it's silly that an alien probe might just be drifting through space, humans have already sent out our own drifting pieces of debris if you think about it. The Voyager probes, Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11, and New Horizons are all currently drifting through interstellar space. To any alien civilization that spots our free-flying drones, they'll look like comets. They'll look to them just like what Atlas looks like to us. So if we've done it, why not someone else? One theory even suggests that alien probes could hide inside comets or asteroids. They might piggyback on natural bodies to camouflage themselves from doing exactly the sort of prying humans are doing right now, like spies wearing costumes. It might be a probe, a drone, or a full-blown spaceship, one piloted by a blue-skinned alien who did a quick U-turn away from Earth once they realized we are a nuke-wielding species of psycho monkeys. If none of those theories suit your fancy, maybe you'll like this one more. What if it's not a ship, but a giant seed? Maybe it's a seed. At a planetary science conference in Germany, astrophysicist Suzanne Falsner proposed an alternate and rather poetic theory. She suggested that objects like Atlas may serve a far more fundamental purpose in the universe than just crashing into random planets. They might be planet seeds. To understand, you first need to understand planet formation. The current idea for how planets form is basically the same for how you build a snowman. Weird that I'm getting 2 snowman analogies in under 5 minutes, but let's go with it. You get it. Grains of dust in space stick together, forming a ball. More particles get stuck on the ball, and so do bigger rocks. The whole thing snowballs, pun intended, until you've got a ball of rock the size of Earth. Problem is, scientific simulations say it's wrong. Simulations show that particles are more likely to bounce off one another or shatter than fuse. So how do gas giants like Jupiter form so quickly in young star systems if the snowball theory is bunk? Suzanne Falsner thinks interstellar objects are the missing catalyst. She imagines Atlas as a sort of cosmic sourdough starter. Think of it as a dense, already formed chunk of planetary material from another solar system. Suzanne thinks that chunks like it often get caught in the gravity of a forming star and then plunge into its protoplanetary disk to give structure to the chaos. In other words, these cosmic starter kits stumble into forming stars and are morphed into planets. Atlas could be one of these starter kits, drifting aimlessly until it finds the right solar system where it can be transformed into a baby planet. Then again, maybe Suzanne is completely wrong. Scientists are at the fringe of their understanding, so no one has any definitive answers, which is why I can't even tell you what 3i Atlas is. Maybe it's just a comet with a suspiciously twitchy trajectory and a chemical profile that breaks the usual rules. Maybe it's a craft, like the cosmic equivalent of a submarine, entering uncharted waters and scoping out the nearby worlds. Or maybe it's a catalyst, a universal ingredient scattered by dying stars, hurled through voids, and caught in the gravitational soup of solar systems yet to form. Or maybe, just maybe, it's a rock. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. the first black hole revisited. In 2019, the world gasped as a blurry orange halo made its rounds online. The orange halo was the first direct image of a black hole ever. It was a huge win for science as a whole, and was honestly just really cool to see. But apparently, that was just the teaser trailer. New data from 2017, 2018, and 2021 has revealed that M87, the black hole in question, isn't a one-trick singularity. It's a magnetic drama queen, spinning, stabilizing, and then flipping its magnetic field like it's bipolar. The black hole is behaving so strangely that astronomers are no longer satisfied with their snapshots. They want a full feature film of this thing, preferably IMAX, narrated by Morgan Freeman, and released right now. M87 isn't just any old black hole. It is a heavyweight lurking 55 million light years away in the galaxy Messier 87. It is 6.5 billion times the mass of our sun, and it lives at the center of a galactic maelstrom, sucking in matter and flinging out energy like a tantrum-prone god. The Event Horizon Telescope captured 3 critical images of M87 over the course of 5 years. And while the general silhouette of the black hole hasn't changed, the iconic swirling orange donut of doom has. The polarization of the light being emitted has altered subtly. Now, for those without a degree in light science, like most of us, polarized light is just normal light, but with its electric field wiggling in the same direction. To try to put it in simple terms, polarized light is like getting everyone in Times Square to face the same way. It's extremely difficult to achieve, but M87 is pulling it off no problem. So how? And why? And also, here's how this is all supposed to work. And don't worry, it's so complicated, your brain might explode. And mine. Matter near a black hole isn't falling in blindly. The matter is friction heated into plasma and threaded with magnetic fields. These fields form enormous magnetic towers, twisting upward like tornadoes of energy, launching matter in relativistic jets that stretch light years into space. Get it? No problem. Let me try again. Matter being eaten by a black hole is extremely magnetized. As the matter is consumed by the black hole, it spins furiously like a hurricane. And because of the magnetization, light and energy spit out of the black hole like blood gushing out of a wound, or hydraulic fuel gushing out of a busted hose. Those jets of energy are hugely important for the universe because they shape star formation and the evolution of entire galaxies. It's like sneezing and rearranging the furniture in your neighbor's house. However, the recent images of M87 show that the orientation of the magnetic field have shifted dramatically over time. In 2017, the polarization spiral wound one way, but in 2018, it looked like it calmed down. By 2021, it reversed direction entirely. This is the magnetic equivalent of switching political parties, changing your name, and moving across the country. The black hole is like the biggest tornado you've ever seen, suddenly changing the direction of its spinning wind. It doesn't make any sense, and scientists don't have a clue what's going on. So what on Earth, or space, is going on here? According to Sebastiano von Fellenberg, one of the lead researchers at the Canadian Institute for Theoretical Astrophysics, there are a few possible explanations. First, the magnetic fields themselves might be rearranging at the source, like cosmic rubber bands snapping under strain. Second, there might be changes in something called Faraday rotation, the twisting of polarization as light passes through magnetized plasma. This could throw off the signal like static on an intergalactic radio. Third, the light might be coming from different zones around the black hole, like the inner disk, the jet base, or the turbulent outer layers. Each zone has its own magnetic quirks and contributions. The changes scientists perceive might not be changes at all, but just different zones in the black hole doing different space things. Right now, the scientific team is hoping to keep eyes on the black hole and see what it does. 2 new observatories have joined the network, one in Arizona and one in France. Hopefully more observatories means sharper images and more frequent check-ins. But you're probably wondering what the goal even is. Why stare at a black hole and talk about its light emissions? Partly because it's awesome. But this isn't just a spectacle. Understanding the magnetic mood swings of M87 may be the key to unlocking how black holes feed, evolve, and sculpt galaxies. And that's what science is all about, unlocking the mysteries of the universe. Life on Mars? NASA has just made the most shocking announcement, probably in the history of the organization. They have come right out and said that the best evidence yet of life on Mars has been found. A new study of the Chayava Falls rock core, drilled by the Perseverance rover in July 2024, has delivered the most tantalizing signal yet in the red planet's long-running game of guess who lived here. What they found isn't quite life, but close. It's the chemical equivalent of walking into a house and smelling fresh cookies. No one's home, but someone baked those cookies. And on Mars, although nobody is scurrying around on the surface, Perseverance found chemical clues that suggest someone did. Ghosts of Chayava Falls. At first glance, Chayava Falls looks like any other reddish Martian rock. It also isn't a waterfall, so don't let the falls part confuse you. When Perseverance drilled into it, what emerged was a chemical canvas splattered with tiny nodules that practically scream microbial mischief. These small nodules appear to be proof that microbial life once lived in the rock, and maybe is still living a little deeper below the surface, where Perseverance can't dig. Using its onboard Sherlock and Pixel instruments, the rover picked up complex patterns of organic carbon locked together with phosphate, sulfur, and iron. Two minerals in particular, vivianite and greigite, made scientists gasp. On Earth, vivianite and greigite are about as close as you can get to microbial traces without finding the microbes themselves. In other words, this is the closest NASA has come to confirming microbial life on Mars. These are traces of life left behind by living things. I think what NASA is trying to say is that Mars definitely had life on it, even if it was only microbial. Vivianite is an iron phosphate that forms where microbes pull iron out of sediments, often locking phosphorus into bluish nodules. Greigite is an iron sulfide associated with sulfate-reducing bacteria, the kind of life that enjoys living in environments that are anoxic, muddy, and full of sulfur. The Martian sample contains both of these minerals in spades, and in a distinctly bullseye formation that matches Earth sediments known to host microbial electron transfer chains. I know I sound kind of like a robot with all of these terms, but basically the only thing you really need to know is that Perseverance found the fingerprint of life. Faint and old, but still signs of life. NASA's got cold feet. Before we all rush out into the street and start screaming aliens, NASA has a checklist specifically for this type of thing. It's called the Confidence of Life Detection Scale, or COLD for short. It forces scientists to pump the brakes when they find something lifelike. The rules are simple. First, detect a signal. Second, rule out contamination. Third, consider non-biological alternatives. Then, only then, entertain the possibility of life. This new discovery clears the first few rungs. Scientists got an organic signal. They've ruled out most contaminations, but the final hurdle of debunking non-biological alternatives is currently not possible. These samples could be nothing but chemistry mimicking biology, tricking scientists into thinking they've found life. The thing is, organic carbon can arrive on Mars quite easily within meteorites. Greigite and vivianite can form without microbes. It's rare, but it does happen. NASA simply cannot rule out non-biological alternatives, not until something a little more sophisticated than Perseverance lands on Mars with more advanced tools. Even without being able to confirm that life existed on Mars, let's, for the sake of fun, say the discovery is confirmed. What then? It would mean that early Mars hosted iron and sulfur-based metabolism, a kind of chemical energy extraction that's ancient even by Earth standards. It would place life on Mars in the same league as Earth's oldest organisms. It would also mean that Mars didn't just have water, it had usable chemistry, with enough going on to create the universe's most simplistic life forms. The question would then become, how advanced did Martian life get? Did they reach trilobites before their atmosphere was stripped off their planet? Did they have monkeys, amphibians, birds, human-like beings? Or did life on Mars never get past the microbial stage? If you have any guesses, let me know in the comments. Sadly, our little game of what if is just too premature. NASA's acting administrator, Sean Duffy, called the find the closest we have ever come to discovering life on Mars. And while he's not wrong, closing the case requires bringing the rock home. Not to worry, NASA's working on it. The sample is currently sealed and stored within the rover. Now it's just a matter of humans going to Mars, picking it up and bringing it back to Earth. Easy as pumpkin pie, right? If only. Unfortunately, it's going to be a long wait. In the meantime, the rover will keep scanning. Sherlock and Pixel have proven they can detect organic magnetic mineral pairings, so scientists are hunting for other outcrops with similar chemistry. Maybe there's a pattern. Maybe there's a hotspot. Maybe Cheyava Falls is just the beginning. 6,000 alien worlds and counting. Once upon a time in 1995, scientists didn't even know that a single planet existed beyond our solar system. Think about how crazy that is. 30 years ago, scientists couldn't point to another planet anywhere in the whole universe, and so, in a way, we were all alone. Fast forward a measly 3 decades, and NASA has just confirmed over 6,000 exoplanet discoveries. That's 6,000 full-fledged worlds, each one orbiting a distant star, each one a potential chapter in the galaxy's planetary biography. And while many of them are without a doubt lifeless rocks, some probably aren't. Although scientists have yet to confirm life, just remember that 30 years ago, they hadn't even confirmed another planet outside our solar system. Give it time, guys, give it time. NASA's official planet counter updates in real time as confirmed worlds roll in from labs and observatories across the globe. As of me making this video right now, the actual number is 6,007. And by the time you watch this video, it'll probably be 6,010. Unfortunately, NASA isn't positive which planet was the 6,000th, but they suspect it may have been, get ready for it, KMT 2023 BLG 1896LB. Yep, it's a mouthful. And yes, I complain about planet names all the time. And they seem to be getting longer and filled with more numbers. Let's call it K23b for short. It's a Neptune-like world about 16.35 times the mass of Earth, found via gravitational microlensing. That's a method so precise, it practically requires the universe to blink at the exact right time. This isn't a casual search party anymore. It's an all-out cosmic census. NASA wants to find an inhabited planet. Don't ask me why, but they'd like to find it sooner rather than later. Maybe if we find an alien world, we can all start getting along as one planetary people and stop bickering. The planet that started it all. NASA's announcement comes right on the heels of the anniversary of 51 Pegasi b's discovery. 51 Pegasi b, a planet with an excellent name, was found orbiting a sun-like star in October 1995. The folks responsible were Swiss astronomers Michel Mayer and Didier Queloz. They shook the cosmos by identifying the planet about 50 light-years away. And although I keep calling it a planet, astronomers would rather I call it an exoplanet. The difference is that exo means it's not one of our neighbors. And there are a lot of these exoplanets. NASA's current exoplanet inventory is as bizarre as it is bountiful. How would you like a brief tour of the Interstellar Zoo? You've got 2,035 Neptune-like worlds. These are ice giants with thick atmospheres of hydrogen and helium, harboring cores of rock and heavier elements. Think Uranus and Neptune, but with more attitude. Again, over 2,000 of these. Next up are the gas giants. These are Jupiter-sized behemoths that could crush your dreams with their mass. They're often the easiest to spot due to their sheer size, and there are, so far, 1,984 of them. Then you've got super-Earths, planets bigger than our own but smaller than Neptune. Some are rocky, just like Earth. Others are gassy, meaning there's no surface to walk on. The term super-Earth often gets confused as meaning the planet is habitable. However, none of the 1,762 found so far are guaranteed to have breathable air. The planets that most likely have baristas and polar bears are known as terrestrial planets, and there are 700 of them in NASA's catalog. These are all considered Earth-like, meaning rocky, dense, walkable, and potentially livable. Last but most juicy of all are the unknown types. There are 7 planets that NASA's found that defy classification entirely. They may be weird, unstable, or hiding something. These 7 planets are so strange that NASA's lumped them in the shrug category. And then there are the over 8,000 candidates waiting in the wings, planets detected but not yet confirmed. Many of those may be false positives, many won't be. And somewhere in that crowd could be the planet we've been looking for all along, Earth 2.0, our safety net in case Earth 1.0 turns sour. Every planet is a clue. Each of the different types of planets we discover gives us information about the conditions under which planets can form, said Don Gelino, head of NASA's Exoplanet Exploration Program. Don's not wrong. The more planets humanity finds, the better humans understand where we came from as a species and where else life might be growing right now. Somewhere on a distant world could be a creature not quite primitive but not quite intelligent, balanced on the edge of wherever we were millions of years ago. And if we can find them, who knows? Maybe we could be like their galactic big brother and show them the way to civilization. Just like how, perhaps, an advanced race of aliens showed humans the way to civilization over 5,000 years ago. It's definitely something to think about. And as our technology improves, so will our ability to investigate these exoplanets. NASA says humans are entering the next great chapter of exploration, and they're right. With new missions like the James Webb Space Telescope and the upcoming Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, the tools at our disposal are more powerful and more precise than ever before. What took decades to discover could now take months. The rate of discovery is approaching exponential, and as that happens, the possibility of finding our perfect Earth 2.0 starts shifting from science fiction to scientific probability. If Earth 2.0 is ever found, what should we call it? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe if you're having fun. Cosmic Cradle caught in the act. For the first time in human history, scientists have caught a planet in the act of being born. It might just be the most incredible thing ever photographed. Baby elephants are cute, baby penguins are even cuter, but a baby planet? Who had that on their 2025 bingo card? This is a direct image of a newborn world carving its orbit through a protoplanetary disk like a hot marble through cotton candy. That bright point in the center of light is a planet opening its eyes for the first time. This is the baby picture of a gas giant that may one day grow up to raise moons, control tides, and throw asteroids around like cosmic bowling balls. How did scientists manage to catch such a once-in-an-eon event anyway? That's what I'm here to tell you. At the center of the story is a star called Wispit 2. That's a good name. It's surrounded by a swirling, multi-ringed halo of gas and dust, which is a textbook example of a protoplanetary disk. These rings have long mystified astronomers, mostly because they're full of gaps, like empty lanes on a cosmic racetrack. For years, the best guess scientists had was that hidden planets were plowing through the protoplanetary disk, sweeping lanes clean as they grew in size by collecting matter. You can almost think of it like Roombas sucking up dirt, only it's planets using cosmic dust to literally grow. The issue with the theory was that no one had seen it happen. But that changed when a team led by Laird Close at the University of Arizona and graduate student Rochelle Van Capeleveen turned their attention to Wispit 2 using one of the sharpest eyes in astronomy. I'm talking about MAG-AOX, an extreme adaptive optics system mounted on the Magellan Telescope in Chile. Adaptive optics is the magical process of canceling out Earth's wobbly atmosphere in real time, sort of like noise-canceling headphones but for starlight. The MAG-AOX system then allowed the team to see faint structures hiding right next to the blinding glow of a young star. One of those structures was Wispit 2b, a brand new planet still glowing from the fire of its formation, like a freaking sword still hot out of the forge. Wispit 2b is active. It's got a lot going on. It's gathering hydrogen gas like a ravenous infant desperate for milk and Cheerios, and that infalling material is slamming into the planet's surface, creating a specific red light signature known as hydrogen alpha emission. It's a glowing flare that MAG-AOX was built to catch, specifically indicating a planet being born. At about 5 times the mass of Jupiter, Wispit 2b is no shy pebble. It orbits 3.5 billion miles from its star. That's more than 50 times the distance between Earth and the Sun, which puts the planet way beyond the range of Neptune in our own system. It's the interstellar version of a house built at the edge of town where nobody's supposed to live. Walking home at night must be rough. Amazingly, the team may have spotted a second planet closer to the host star, and this other planet is roughly 9 times Jupiter's mass. If confirmed, this tidy little region of space will officially be a planetary nursery, hosting not just one newborn giant, but a whole celestial daycare. This is one of the greatest discoveries of our time. A space nursery is unprecedented. Scientists, anytime they want, will now be able to point a telescope into Wispit 2b's neighborhood and check on how the kids are doing. Most of the credit here goes, of course, to the scientists, but also to the technology, specifically to MAG-AOX, the star of the show. Mounted on a 21-foot telescope in the dry Chilean desert, MAG-AOX corrects for atmospheric blur at nanosecond speeds, sharpening the image so much that light years become legible. Ever tried to take a selfie only for the most minuscule vibrations of your hand to make the picture blurry? Even if your hand isn't visibly shaking, sometimes small, imperceivable twitches are enough to mess up a photograph. This same problem exists in satellites. Why? Partly because the Earth is spinning like a top. MAG-AOX accounts for the spinning and corrects it, like a sharpshooter accounting for wind before they take the shot. And that's why scientists can snap such clear pictures of things so terribly far away. Meanwhile, the team also used SPHERE, an adaptive optics system on the Very Large Telescope. SPHERE helped to confirm the ringed structure in infrared. You can think of MAG-AOX as the magnifying glass and SPHERE as the flashlight. Together, they revealed both the planet and its dusty birthplace. This is what happens when you mix international collaboration with cutting-edge optics. You get a front-row seat to a process that formed our Earth 4.5 billion years ago. Scientists are, in essence, watching a planet form from dust to rock to world. It makes you wonder what our solar system may have looked like from light years away during its formative years. Maybe not so different from Wispit 2, don't you think? Thanks for watching! What discovery in outer space are you most looking forward to? Are you into new forms of life? Do you like asteroids that might be probes? Are you hoping to peek into a black hole? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you soon. Bye!